This episode is brought to you by Kia's first three-row, all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults, with 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute and available lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
Hello, all these amazing, beautiful people. Give it up for, give it up for yourself. Wow. My name is Wafer. Yes, Wafer like the cookie. And thank you. Wow. I need a Beyonce fan or something. These lights hit you when you're right here. So I am the brand experience manager here at Samsung 837, and I welcome you. I welcome you all. We have an amazing event for you tonight, and it's by none other than Myleik. Now, if you ever have heard a podcast, I know you guys, they turned it up on me, didn't they? Goodness. So if you ever heard her podcast, you know that you're in for a treat. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our moderator for this evening, Ayana Angel.
Woo! Feeling good, looking good. I love it. Because we are here for good vibes, right? We're here for a special evening, the live experience of Myleik Teal's podcast, affectionately known as the My Taught You podcast. And this is the I'm Here For You tour. Make some noise for New York City. Woo! I love it. I know some of you came from far and wide to be here. Even y'all up there. Wow. Hey, y'all. So thank you so much for making the journey for those who came from far. We appreciate it. And before I go any further, definitely want to thank Samsung and the 837 team for all of their hard work behind the scenes. Woo! I know you all are ready for Myleik and Friends, and you're probably like, Harpo, who this woman? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ayana Angel, and I'm the host of the Quit Playing Small podcast, and I also run my own podcast production company, and I'll be your moderator, as Wafer said. So I want you to know that there will be time for questions, and that will come in our second portion of the evening, our second hour. So just be prepared, get your phones out, your notes, all that good stuff, because we definitely want to make sure that our guests are able to answer your questions. And so just so you have an idea of what to expect, in a moment, Myleik is going to come out. Then we're going to hear from some awesome women, herself included, and we're just going to lean into our greatness. They're going to show us how they've leaned into their greatness, and we're going to continue the good vibes. That sound good? All right. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys down memory lane a little bit. So Myleik and I, we've known each other for years, and we've come a long way from our days of doing PR, working in Beverly Hills. But there was this thing that Myleik always had. It was this big sister vibe. So I decided I wanted to move to New York, and in true Myleik fashion, she, number one, threw me a going away happy hour with all the people that needed to be there, all the media people I needed to might meet in New York, all the good stuff, right? So I thought that was it. Then I show up to work and she gives me this packet. Honey, she had printed off some papers, and it had books I should read, things I should know, her career tips and advice for me. And I was like, she is something else. But it was very big sister, and I loved it, and no one had ever did anything like that for me. And that's when I knew she had a special something about her where she cared about other people. Hence the name, I'm Here For You tour, right? So fast forward, I'm living in New York, walking the New York streets. We're chatting on the phone as we would normally do, and she's telling me about this business that she was gonna start, right? It was gonna be called Curl Box, honey. All the girls were gonna love it. The natural girls. I wasn't natural, I still had a perm then. So I was like, okay, girl, okay, I get it. And then she launches Curl Box. And woo, was it a thing. Woo, did y'all love it. The box sold out. The list went crazy. And right, give it up. And so that was the beginning of a whole new journey and adventure in her life. And that's why most of you are probably here today and know her as the founder and CEO of Curlbox. But for many years, she was also behind the mic hosting the My Taught You podcast, sharing, guess what, her life lessons, her career advice. But she's also a community builder who has organized soul-fulfilling retreats. The My Taught You retreat, anyone? Some of you have probably attended, exactly. And she recently founded an investment club. I think it's just for women too. Hello, ladies, okay? And she has an online community empowering Black moms. Yes, give it up for them. So when she asked me to be here tonight and to be a part of the I'm Here For You tour, I said, say less, sis. We doing this. You know why? Because she's been there for me so many times, just like I'm sure she's been there for many of you. And that's why we want to be here for her, because that's just the person that she is. And without further ado, let's welcome Miley to the stage.
Y'all are too much. Y'all too much. I can't take it. I told y'all, I said, I'm fragile. I said, I'm fragile. Oh my God, it has been so long since I have seen you. Uh-oh, thank you. I missed y'all, if you couldn't tell. All right, so I have notes because I have 2 kids now. My brain capacity, my memory, all my stuff is shot. And I want to make sure that I cover the stuff that I'm going to cover. I just want to say before I get into my spiel, I invited 3 of the most incredible women and voices and forces that I have the privilege to have in my life. And I really do feel like I wanted to get you guys in this free room. And so you guys are just like the +1 to like the friendship. So we are gonna go there. They are amazing. Like I know that you are going to enjoy this. So I'm here for you. I'm gonna do, for those of you who have been listeners of my podcast over the years, you know that I usually do my 3 points. And so because I want to make sure that we get all the stuff in tonight, I only have 3 points today. I started with 5 and I was like, dial back. So my first point is I'm here for you. The name of this podcast comes from a talk that I had with my therapist. And I'm in a tough time in my life. And every time we end our session, she says, my leak. I'm like, she goes, I'm here for you. And it's to the point where I'm like, oh, okay. And I think the hardest part is like, why is it so hard for me to hear? Like, she deliberately stops me every time. And it's like, she makes sure that I see her. And I said, why is that so hard to hear? Why does it feel like this is the first time I have ever heard this? And why do I know she's not the only one to feel this way for me? And why am I going full steam ahead taking her, and why am I not going full steam ahead taking her and anyone else up that wants to help and support me? So I think that is the thing of like, why is it so hard to hear that? And so I want you guys to know something. My days of rejecting love and support are over. Understand? So I need y'all to say this with me. We are going to say this together. My days of rejecting love and support are over. Y'all ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. My days of rejecting love and support are over. Yes. Okay, first point down. My next point for this with you guys is that community is critical. Before the pandemic, many of the questions I got on my podcast were about friendship. how to have friends, how to make friends, how to break up with friends. And so we've been having a time building community. Since we are no longer rejecting love and support, we are going to be investing in our friendships from here on out. We are going to be not waiting for them to happen, expecting them to happen, rolling the dice and hoping that people will notice us. We are going to be investing in our friendships. We are going to invest in building a community. So I know a lot of people here tonight are a part of the mom community. And shout out to you for investing in yourself. And so a lot of times it's like, oh, people are here for me. And the truth of the matter is that I just feel like a lighthouse for just a life of the truth, living in your truth and trusting yourself. And so it's like anybody you meet here today that feels like led by this light, these are your people, So it's like you came here for yourself. This is an investment in yourself. And so I really have so much respect for all of you who came far and wide. Where's Marby? Where's she at? Marby's Kitchen. Where she came? There she is, all the way from London, Thailand. This girl, she pulled up on us. So shout out to you for coming all this way. And I just wanted to make sure that you know that I know that you came. So we are here to build with each other. We are here to get it all done. My final point before I get into our first guest of the evening is that I have changed. I am not the same. I am not the same person you met. I'm not the same person you went to Mexico on the retreat with. I am not the same woman that you listened to on the podcast these past few years. Having children changed me. Having one kid forced me to evaluate many of the things in my life. Having my second child, a daughter, that really made me ask myself if I was who I said I was. Who are you really, Myleik? And that's the journey that I've been on, staying true to who I want to be. And I may not be her yet, but I know it's coming. And I know that's why we're here tonight, is that we're like, this is the path that we're on. And so we are here tonight to get closer to who we want to be. And guess what? I'm here for you. So I am going to, before I bring our first guest out, I joked and I teased him backstage. I'm like, I got your professional bio and I got your personal bio. So before I bring my first guest out, I have to tell you how I met Devi Brown. I met her in New York City. We were speaking at an event similarly to this. We shared a car, and I literally fell in love with Devi. There are few people that I meet in life where I'm like, oh my God, I just keep talking. I want to keep talking to you. She is a kind person. She oozes love. She is love. I've had some wonderful, deep, and explorative talks with Devi. She helps me stick closer to my beliefs. And I am beyond excited for you guys to spend some time with her. So, her pro bio, Devi Brown is a master well-being educator, author, and entrepreneur. She currently serves as the Chief Impact Officer at Chopra Global, founded by Dr. Deepak Chopra. Understand. In addition, Devi is a founding board member of the Mental Wealth Alliance, and she also teaches at the Omega Institute for Holistic Studies. Devi spends many of her days serving as a host of the leading spirituality podcast, Dropping Gems, where she champions transformative conversations. You guys, please meet Devi Brown.
Wow. Wow. I love you so much.
I love you more.
Should we start with some grounding?
Let's do it.
Okay.
So this is the part where I feel like y'all got to put y'all phones down for a moment.
Okay.
Gotta put them down because we getting ready to get got to feel all of it.
Let's ground into this moment because it's not a coincidence that we're all here tonight in this city on a full moon. Full moon in Aries, big energy. So let's take a second, and even if you're standing, I want to invite you to just kind of put your feet in a more stabilized position, maybe like this, and try to get them as flat as possible. If you're seated, I want to invite you to just get a little more comfortable where you are. I want to invite everyone now to gently close their eyes. If you feel comfortable, we're safe, we're soft. And now notice your body and connect to your breath in your chest. Allow your left hand to come up to your heart. And as you position your palm there, I want you to notice if you feel your heartbeat and connect to that rhythm. Relax your hips. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw. And we're going to take a few deep breaths here. And we're going to do 3 breaths together. That is going to be a 4-4-4. So I'll keep the count here. Go ahead and begin an inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release slowly through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4. We'll do that breath once more. You keep the count. Begin your inhale now. Hold. Release. Hold. Begin your inhale here. Hold. And as we get ready to release at my prompt, we'll release with a sigh through our mouths that sounds like ha. Release here. Ha. Reconnect to your body, eyes still gently closed. Invite in now an intention. Connect to my voice as I say this and repeat it silently to yourself inside. What is your intention for being here tonight? And now the next question, as we connect to the life that is more, filled with more space, more love, more purpose, ask this question to yourself silently. Who am I being called to become? Who am I being called to become right now? You can let your hand gently fall to your lap, to your side. You can gently begin to open your eyes here. Oh, now we're grounded.
We are ready. Thank you. Devi, I want to start with the last thing you left me with. You laid this in my lap. We were talking about purpose, and you said our gifts can only take us as far as our healing. I have not stopped thinking about that. Expound.
Yeah. You know, we're all called to become. Every single one of us has a calling on our life that is far bigger than anything we can fathom. The calling on our life has absolutely nothing to do with our job title, though that can be a vehicle for our purpose. Our purpose, our mission, what our soul came here to do, it's always evolving and expanding. And as we're at this really beautiful point in human history where gratefully mental health, emotional health, our inner world is becoming one of the most important things that we spend time with, you know, we can only expand to the level of our own consciousness. We can only share ourselves to the level that our consciousness in that moment permits. And so when I think about the fact that each one of us has so many gifts, so many that are even dormant in this moment, like we haven't even scratched the surface, we can only really use those and live those once we clear out space. So, you know, the biggest dream you have in your life that may sometimes feel like, why can't I get this thing? Or why isn't this happening with more ease? I feel it in my heart. I know I'm called to it. Why is it so challenging? When those moments come, it's such a beautiful invitation to say, what can I cast aside? In what ways am I getting in my own way? You know, especially if you come from a challenged background or have complex lived experiences that we all do. And if you're a woman of color, black, brown, anything non-white, times that by 1 million.
Right.
We get in that space and it can block everything that's good that's coming from us, including receiving love, feeling love from others, feeling celebration from others, feeling joy, and even just being able to stand in the truth of who we are. So the more we do that work to clear out space mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, the more we can actually live our purpose with ease and have the highest impact.
Thank you. Okay. Because I have all of the things. I feel like, you know, something that I have always admired about you is the way that you treat yourself. You are so tender and kind and direct and honest with yourself. Were you always this way?
God, no.
And how did you get here?
You know, that's been my healing journey. I'm somebody that was very rigid with themselves, highly critical of themselves all the time, always felt like I needed to be in control, fixing, doing, offering advice, showing up, you know, doing things for other people. And that will kill you. You know, if it doesn't physically kill you, which it literally does for some women, destroys our bodies, destroys our mental health, it will spiritually kill you. It'll kill your soul. And you'll be performing, but inside you'll feel completely empty. I don't want a life like that, you know? And when I started doing some of the deeper work on my journey with my personal spiritual curriculum, I realized I was in deep need of learning how to meet my own needs. Right? Very often we get so upset with other people. We get so upset at the world for all the ways that things don't show up for us. But when you learn how to fill yourself, and I don't just mean that in the very kind of casual way that we see on Instagram right now, fill your cup, sis. No. I am so sick of these memes, let me tell you.
Fill your cup, sis.
Fill your cup, sis. Like, cool. But it's really hard work. You know, you have to unlearn everything that was a barrier from you to yourself to be able to look yourself in the eyes in the mirror sometimes. We have complex lived experiences. We have things that we walk through that no one could even fathom sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes things you experienced only you know about. You know, so imagine the weight of that. It's very hard to connect to self-care or even hear about it and not roll your eyes and think, what's that going to do for what I got inside that no one knows?
Right.
But the more we start, the more it disarms us, it softens us, you know? And so a few years ago, I'm somebody that has been journeying for a very long time, and I've been all over the world working with psychedelics, plant medicine, studying with different masters of different healing modalities. I believe in the power of healing. I believe in the power of somatics in your body and working with the spirit realm. And so I was on a path a couple years ago to soften. I was like, life, why are good things happening in my life and it doesn't feel like it? Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Those times where you're like, I know I should be excited about this. And then you get caught up in performative joy, right? Which is kind of what we've seen on social the last several years. You know, these announcement posts, these yes, you know,
Yes.
fire flame emojis, 100 of them under everything. Like, you know, and all of that is good. We needed that because we needed to know we could celebrate ourselves, but now
Yes.
there's more. And I feel like that more comes when we do that work, that internal work on ourselves. We can really feel the joy that has always been there. We can feel the love that people who are closest to us are showing us. So my journey to softening was I got really highly romantic with myself.
Ooh, yes.
I am so romantic with me.
She is. I took some tips. I spent a weekend with her and I come home and I'm like, oh, I gotta do better. You know, I gotta turn my playlist on. I gotta like
When we were in Mexico?
yes, I came home like, oh, I'm done. I will be, and it's like my partner's like, what is going on back here? I lit the incense. I had my playlist going. It's like I ran my bath. I lit my candle. It was just like full romance. Like I set out my jammies. I did all of the things, every butter cream thing that I had. I did. And I walked out like, this is amazing. And I'm like, she does this often.
Every day.
Yeah.
And this is the thing I really want to convey. It sounds challenging every day, but it's not when you make it intentional, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money.
It doesn't.
It's as simple as the refresher spray I use for my curls, you know, our spray bottles. I write a note on it that says divine love, divine beauty, divine grace. Every time I spray my hair, I speak that over myself. That's free, you know, but that is high level intention. I place a lot of intention, and I don't make myself available for things that don't serve me. You know, that's how I'm romantic and soft with myself. It is that I be cream all over. I anoint myself with the things. And also, I say no all the time. I don't allow people in my life that don't have energetic exchange. You know, like I'm very direct with the people in my life. I'm very clear about who I am and what I allow in my space. And I also share love and respect to everyone else and try to connect with what their needs and intentions are. So moment by moment intention allows you to flirt with your life and feel a little bit lighter.
Your life.
I love to flirt with myself and flirt with my life.
I see it every time. Every time I spend any time with you, I come back home like I'm starting over. I'm hitting the refresh button. I fell off, but I'm back. So we're short, but I'm gonna just go over a little bit short on time because I really want to cover this. Is that I said this to you: healing, and wellness can feel so elusive at times. Like you see this stuff on social. We're healing, it's wellness, and you know it can often feel so hard to reach. Like it's something we have to always be doing. If you could just tell me what it really is and how we really access it. Because I know you know. I know you know.
Okay, I want to be really honest with everybody. You do have to do it all the time. Wellness and healing, it's not a weekend vision boarding. You know, it's not just one thing. It's not one breakthrough thought. It's having the breakthrough, it's having the healing, and then building supportive structure in your life that supports your healed self. It is meant and designed to be this intentional because it's meant and designed to allow your life to expand to heights you can't even imagine. But wellness, yes, it is. Take care of yourself, fill your cup, sis, have the bath, and it's shadow work. It's investigating those darker parts of yourself. It's requiring that you look to see, do my words match my behavior?
Ooh.
Where do I stand in my integrity? How do I treat myself? How do I treat others? It is that, and it gets easier. We just have to get our reps up in our wellness. It feels foreign at first. It also feels like you really want to reject it. Things come up. When you start trying to meditate for the first time and all those thoughts start going, and after that first time you say, it's just not for me. I think too much. I can't meditate. Yes, you and 7 billion other people that are alive. The average human thinks 30,000 thoughts a day. But it feels uncomfortable because you're doing something new and you're loosening the stuck things inside. But it doesn't mean it's wrong, and it doesn't mean it doesn't get easier, and it doesn't mean you can't do it every day. When I started my meditation practice, I could barely make it through a 2-minute guided meditation. Now I'm up to 2 hours.
Ooh.
My practice is 2 hours a day, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour at night. But it's the steps, little by little, little by little, little by little, you will become.
Devi Brown. She will be back.
I'll be back.
Yes. Thank you.
I love you.
Yes. Thank you, Devi. Are you coming? Come up.
Want to take a question?
Oh, do we want to take it? Do we have time should Devi stay?
We have time for one question. So
Okay.
we'll do one question now.
Okay.
One question.
See, this is.
Anybody?
I got kids. I forgot. Devi, you want to come up? Yes. Okay. Marby, you have a question? You came. Is that your Instagram name? What's your real name? I'm up here calling people their
It's a
Instagram
nickname.
names.
It's just Barbie with an M, but my name is Michelle.
Michelle.
Such an honor to be in the presence of you both. Devi, I wanted to ask, in terms of doing the work and uncovering things about yourself, what do you do with the things you don't like?
Y'all going there today on Hunting.
You better ask that question. That is so good. What do you do with the things that you don't like? You learn to love them anyway. You learn to accept them. You learn to investigate them. So when we have like a hard charged energy about something that's a piece of us, and sometimes it can be perceivedly bad behavior, right? It could be that, you didn't make a great choice or you treated that person crazy. Investigate it. Ask yourself questions about yourself gently, but don't reject yourself. Don't hate yourself. The majority of the ways that we behave and the choices we make, they're based on our lived experience. They're based on what was or was not role modeled by caretakers in our lives, but none of it makes us defective. None of it makes us wrong. None of it makes us broken. It's really about just saying, and sometimes for those that are like this, I'm very type A, make a list. Sit down, make it soothing, light a candle, light some incense, get some wine.
Romance and flirt.
Flirt with yourself, romance yourself, because the work is hard. So do it with some gentleness, do it with some care. And just start saying, okay, I did this. Even though I feel justified in it, it does feel wrong, or it really hurt this person. So why do I do that? What made me do that? When did I start doing that? And just walk yourself back on your unique trail of who you are. But the biggest thing is, don't judge yourself for it. And just stay connected to it so you can make a different choice next time. But when we mess up on this journey, when you do have that blow up, or you make some kind of a decision that goes against who you said you were going to be, it is imperative that you learn to forgive yourself for it. That you in that moment say, God, I really forgive myself for judging myself as wrong. I forgive myself for judging my behavior. I learned this behavior because of, and make a different choice. Now, the whole point is to make a different choice. Forgive yourself to then change the behavior. But you got to meet all of it. The dark parts, the light parts, they're all pieces of us. And we have to make peace with the whole picture. Thank you for
Thank
that
you.
question.
That was a good one.
So powerful.
That was a good one. Thank you. We're good? Okay.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
next.
Next. Next. Woo! I knew y'all would like that one. So good. So, is it my time? Okay. So, our next guest is, I don't know, I feel like she is saving us by the hour on Instagram. By the hour. And it's just this thing of like, is she like, how is she in my text messages? And like, how is she getting all of this? So, our next guest is Nedra Tawwab. I got to give y'all her pro stats. She is a New York Times best-selling author. But before I get into the rest of your stuff, I want to tell you publicly in front of every person here how proud I am of you for sharing endlessly with us. And so I went on and I was like, I just wanted to say, I was like, you have 7,008 as of this morning, like book reviews on Amazon, and like not even a single 1-star. Like they can't even hate on this book. Like, who writes a book that can't even be hated on? Like, I am consistently referring to it. It is a book that I know that I'm going to have forever. And so I just wanted to thank you. Like, I'm a real fan of your work, your presence, and your consistency. So, okay, but I got to keep telling you, she is a licensed, and it's like bolded licensed therapist. Yes. She sees clients. She is a sought after relationship expert. She practiced relationship therapy for 15 years and is the founder and owner of a group therapy practice, Kaleidoscope Counseling. Not new to this. She helps people create healthy relationships by teaching them how to implement boundaries. Her gift is helping people create healthy relationships with themselves and others. So, I want to talk about friendship with you. I feel like for as long as I've been online, for as long as I have my podcast, and now I have my mom group, it is like making friends, keeping friends, breaking up with friends is always, I can never go a day with that. So I was online last week and I watched someone talk about the impact of quality friendships as a part of their wellness journey. And so I wanted to ask you, I was like, what is a quality friendship? How am I a quality friend?
I would say one where you feel safe, you can open up. There is low judgment. I'm not saying no judgment, low judgment. There's this sense of openness, connection, love, admiration, celebration, and togetherness. As women, I think unfortunately we are raised in this environment of being competitive, being combative with each other, and we have to check that about ourselves. We have to really look at the moments when we are not leaning into being healthy people, therefore making us unhealthy friends.
I know. Like, yeah, we all had to sit with that one for a second. There is a reel going around on the internet that I saw that said, always remember, if you're not invited, don't go. If you're not told, don't ask. Late invite, decline. You were never a part of the plan. You just suddenly became convenient. And people were like, yes. And I was like, a therapist would be like, no. And so, what's that about?
I heard some folks out here like, yes, if they did not invite you, don't go.
Yes.
I heard some signifying with that. And, you know, I think that's our fear of rejection. We all want to be invited to our classmates' birthday party, right? And so that's coming up like, oh my gosh, they didn't think about me first. I feel left out. That is a great place to start. I feel left out. Again, go back to you, work on your stuff. This person, they have a whole life. They could have forgot. It could be something else, but you were invited. If they invited you a week before or the day of, you made the list. You can be there. You should be there. Don't reject yourself when someone else has not rejected you.
I was like, I know the therapist's not gonna go for this one, but but I've been there. You know what I mean? I feel like I was a person that would make up stories about what people were doing when I now it's like people forget, and it's like I don't know. I feel like sometimes when it comes to friendship, it's like, I feel like there is so much pressure. Like, there's a thing that's going around on TikTok that's just like, what is the one thing you learned from like your last friendship? And I'm like, so, like, as it was like a relationship, like it is the one person. I think I view friendships like bouquets. What do you think? Like, I feel like there's this idea. Like, my son is 4 years old, and every day he's like, my best friend is. And I and it changes weekly or monthly. He goes back, and I feel like sometimes as adults, it's like all eyes are on one person. Help us. Is this should we be doing that? Like, how are the pressure for one person to be your friend feels heavy.
As an adult, I think we need at least five.
Okay.
At least five. Like, if I had to put a number to it, we
Okay.
need to spread that energy around. I have been in those relationships where you are the only friend. It is a lot of pressure. Girl, I do not want to go to Target with you every time you go. I don't always want to spend Valentine's Day with you. I don't want to be the person to watch your kids every time.
Right.
Like, you need other people. We need a community of people. And community is not one person, it's not two, it's a full neighborhood.
Right.
Now, all of those friendships are not going to be close friendships.
Okay.
Some of them will be closer than others, but we need multiples. We should not be putting that energy all on one person. If you have an issue, yes.
Yes.
You the
Yes.
one person.
Yeah. The one for me. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we do that. It's almost, Drake had the No New Friends, and I love that song. But I want a lot of new friends.
Yes.
I'm always meeting people. I hope I meet somebody this weekend and today.
Yes. I feel like
Yeah.
that's flirting with your life, similar to what Devi said. I hope I meet somebody this weekend, a friend. I don't know that I've ever gone into something like that, but I should and I want to.
My kids go to the park and they be like, we're making friends. I'm like, here today at the park with these strangers?
Yes.
They're like, we're going to make friends.
Yes.
That's their goal for playing
Yes.
at the park.
Gosh.
So I'm like, oh, well, maybe my goal when I'm with other people should be friendship.
Yes. I think just prioritizing it and thinking about it, and not I feel like even in the sense of dating, waiting for it to happen, somebody to come to your door. If you know, it'll just happen, which is not true. So if someone is chronically unable to make friends, what's up?
How do I say this clinically? It's a you problem. What is it? Sometimes we have these rigid boundaries where our walls are so high, our expectations are so high. This person didn't call me back when she can't be a friend. It's like, really? Because someone didn't call you back? So sometimes to have friends, we have to lower our expectations. We have to look at the person, what they're actually capable of, their abilities, their life, the other things that go on. We cannot create a story. A lot of times we get into this mindset of, I'm going to create a story for this person. They didn't call me back because, and it's like, you don't know that. Something else could have happened. They could have been in traffic. Anything could happen, but we create these stories and then we run with it and we don't have friends. You will notice that folks who say, I don't have any friends or I have a hard time meeting friends, it's usually the same sort of scenarios that play out for them. I met this person and they did this. And then the next story is, I met this person and they did this. It's like, so everybody's doing the same thing to you? So I wonder, like, is it your expectation? Is it something that perhaps you aren't doing to invite people into your life? Because it's not all on the other person. I talked to someone once who was sick, and their friend didn't offer to bring them any medicine or soup or something. And she was like, every time this person is sick, I'm always there for them. I said, did you ask her? Why do I have to ask? I do it because she's not you. That's what you do when people are sick. I like to be left alone when I'm sick, so I think
Also.
that's what your friend was doing.
Right, right.
I'm not texting anybody.
Right.
So if that's what you require, you have to let people know that because they can't assume to know what your needs are. So you're losing friends because you're not even up front.
Something that you say that I feel like needs to be said in this room tonight is that you will have to repeat yourself. We are people that's like, I told her what I like. She saw me. Why do I have to repeat myself?
I feel like I could write a book on why we need to repeat ourselves.
I know.
Can we just acknowledge that we all used to be children and we were probably all told to clean our room 1,000 times and none of us probably got it? Maybe somebody in here got
Yes.
it, but I didn't get it.
Right. Also, did not.
Over and over and over. I do the same thing with my kids. Every night at bedtime, brush your teeth, floss, mouthwash. Every night I say the same thing. Brush your teeth, mouth, like over and over because repetition works. I'm shocked when they get it. And one day, hopefully, probably when they leave my home, they'll be doing it. But we have to repeat ourselves, not just to our friends, to our partners, to our, business partners, employers. It is a relationship skill that is so important. Just like we repeat things to ourselves. You look good, girl. You look good, girl. You need to do that with other people. You have to restate the need. You need to make the request again. You have to let them know, I'm not drinking. Whatever it is, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. That is not an issue per se. Now, if you feel like someone heard you and they're clearly not listening, then you can handle that. But sometimes people are not thinking with you in mind always. We think people remember every single thing we say, and they're probably taking in about 20%.
That's real. Before I get to the question, I feel like you posted, and I wish I remembered it exactly, something about the kind of like the difference between like friends and acquaintances and how I'll muck it up, but like kind of like how we are not, people don't realize who's a friend and what's an acquaintance. And so, can you reflect back on that post and like speak to that here?
I would say an acquaintance is someone that you see in a certain context. So maybe a mom group or maybe a book club. But if that relationship does not transition outside of that space, that might be an acquaintance relationship.
That is so helpful to me. And I feel like because so many of us will be in certain settings and it starts to get confusing and you're like, that's my friend. And it's like, from the book club.
And then we will have friendship expectations of the
Yes.
acquaintance.
Yes.
She didn't come to my party. Well, it's not your friend.
Yes. And so I was like, I feel like that would be really helpful. I am going to let, can we get a question? Does anybody, look at this outfit, feathers, come on. We're over here. Can we get, if not, I'll pass it. You got it.
We're gonna cross over, sorry, guys.
Don't worry.
Here you go.
First of all, thank you guys for being here. This is like really awesome, really great. But why are we so rigid with ourselves and others? Where does that come from? Because I've been rigid with myself and others. Like if they don't do this, then they're not my friend. But then I had to look at myself and say, well, I'm rigid with myself too. And why am I rigid with myself?
I will say with others, it is an unnecessary self protection sometimes. I remember when I had my first car, and my mother kept telling me over and over, "Don't let your friends drive your car." And I'm like, "What kind of friends she think I got? That's gonna take advantage of my car." That was her story.
Yes.
So she apparently had some friend who took her car. I don't know. I'm making up stuff now, but
Right.
I'm like, I've never had a friend do that before. So a lot of it is just us trying to protect ourselves. So we're trying to be in this mode of, I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to put myself out there first. So people have to fulfill these things that are sometimes impossible. For somebody to come to every birthday party, they gotta, they have to be a bridesmaid.
Oh, do not get me started on the bridesmaids.
Yeah, I mean,
Y'all, ooh.
but it's like we don't have any flexibility to say that perhaps this person is a really good friend and also they cannot. So
Good friends cannot
yeah,
also.
yeah, it doesn't make them a bad person. And with ourselves, that's a therapy session.
So, yeah, I knew she was gonna say that. Yep, it is. So we are down to the wire. Nedra, thank you. She will be back. All right, you want to just leave? Oh, okay. So we are going, we are flowing. I am having a good time. I cannot wait. I'm gonna make sure that everybody is coming back, but I wanted to just talk individually to the people here tonight before we get into just like our full-on sister session. Our next guest. Oh, they are ready. Our next guest is, I'm gonna give her pro bio first. Retired fashion blogger turned full-time entrepreneur and founder of the successful lifestyle brand Glamaholic Lifestyle. Mia Ray's creativity and love for fashion led her to create a company that has been highlighted by Forbes and Essence. Her approach to personal branding and marketing allow her to connect with her customers like no other. From a vision drawn in her notebook, Mia Ray has executed a full-fledged lifestyle brand that resonates with so many savvy young women across the world. You cannot go to any airport in the world and not spot a Glamaholic period. Without further ado, Mia Ray. Okay.
Hey, y'all.
Woo! They are all
Whoa.
okay. So, Mia, from the audience, because I met you in a situation similar to this. So, from the audience to Times Square to the stage, you are here. There are a lot of people that grapple with whether or not they should be in rooms like this. Should I go? Should I not go? Why did you come to things like this? And what did you get out of it?
Well, I can honestly say this wasn't around 13 years ago when I started. We weren't doing a lot of
Dinner.
Yeah,
A small dinner.
It was a small dinner.
Yes.
And just something that simple and going to that small dinner and meeting someone who will ultimately change my life. That's the top reason why you need to attend events like this. You never know who you're going to meet. And you always say something about being in the room. Sometimes just being in the room. I think I was probably the last person that she invited to that dinner.
Yes, you were. She was like, "Hey, can Mia come? She's a girl in town. She sells these bags." And I
Yes.
said, "If she wants to come, tell her to come."
Yes, and I was like, I'm coming. So just being at that table, it was about maybe 15 of us. And I remember being there. And from that day, my league said something to me that hit my head. And I was like, "Whoa, she is tough as nails." I walked away like, that lady don't like me.
Yes.
Turns out I'm her favorite.
Yes. That was probably pre-therapy, and I have learned sometimes when I really care and I just see so much potential, I used to be like, I have got to deliver this news. And now, like with the help of friends like Devi, I can be softer,
Absolutely.
more romantic.
She looked at me. She was like, he don't like you. I was like, oh. She didn't say that. I'm joking. It was something like that.
It's like how our grandmothers
Yes,
were. That is
absolutely.
how I was raised. That is how my mom talked to me. It's like, we got to get moving. Like,
But I love tough love. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a tough love giver. So when it's given to me, I'm okay with it.
yeah, you're like, you were just fine. I was
Yeah.
like, you're like, all right, okay, what else?
And she was right.
Don't always love being right. But so I was listening to some West Coast freestyles because we are from LA here, and I heard this one line yesterday and I thought of you. He said, "I stuck to the code, kept on digging and struck gold." I feel like there is a very distinct code that you live by.
Period.
I feel like you live by a code, and would you mind sharing a couple of your life codes with us?
When it comes to my life and the codes, I would definitely say, like, I am the epitome of stay down until you come up. If it was a picture in the dictionary, I'd be there like,
Stay down. What is staying down?
I don't rush a thing. I really feel like in my mind, like, life is a marathon. It's not a race. I've talked to people plenty of times. It's not a lot of people who will go 10 years selling the same bag.
No. I teased her about that. I said, you come back every year. Same bag.
Different color.
Yeah.
I'm like the Michael Jordan that, so, it's not a lot of people that go 10 years and being laughed at and being called fake Louis Vuitton. And, just because I was doing something that everybody else wasn't doing, I was like the eyeball. I was getting talked about. And I was in my house like, I don't care. What? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I think I grasped the concept a long time ago. I had my son. I got pregnant at 16. And the day before my 12th grade year started, I went in the kitchen. I was crying. And my big ma looked at me. She said, "You don't want to go to school, do you?" I said, "No, big ma, they going to laugh at me." She said, "They laughed at Jesus. They talked about Jesus. What you think they going to do to you?" So at 16, I was like, yeah, F y'all.
Right. Like, y'all gonna talk about anybody.
I'll talk about anybody. What makes me any different?
Right. So want to stay down until you come up.
I will also say that I like to root for the underdog.
Okay. So you here for a code life
Because I feel like I'm the underdog.
Okay.
I feel like I was the girl that was overlooked. I feel like I was not the first person that was asked to dance at the school dance. I've always been a weirdo all my life. What I deem as a weirdo. Always, I was Punky Brewster. I would go to school, pink shirt and lime green pants,
Okay.
always doing what I wanted to do. So when it comes to the underdog, I really fight for that. I'm always happy when stuff turns around for people. And it's something that you always say about me that has stuck. I do make the unseen feel seen.
Yes.
Because I know what that feels like. And I want her to know, the girl that's in the audience right now, maybe 10 years from now, you'll be up here.
Yes.
Maybe 10 years from now, you'll have a billboard in Times Square. Certain things that happen in my life, people be like, "Can you believe it?" I'll be like, "Girl, no." I ain't see this coming.
Right. It's like you can't even dream the dreams that are like, you can't even dream big enough for what could potentially
How
happen.
in the world? Why Forbes keep talking to me? Like,
y'all ain't got nobody else.
Why they keep coming to see me? They be like, "How did you get in Forbes?" I be like, "Oh, they came to see me."
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Yes.
Some things, I don't have the answer to, and I just know there was nobody but God. I know I dream. I had this dream. I had this vision. I had no idea what I was doing. I just jumped out the window and just kept going.
I love that. Okay. I have often said that I am 100% solid, and I will backtrack that because I feel like most of us are between 90 and 97% solid. I don't think anybody can be 100% anything. Um, can you think of a time when you broke one of your codes, your own code?
That was actually one of my codes. I feel like I'm solid as a rock. Like, I feel like I'm strong as an ox. Like, come at me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But there are times that I've been so solid that people have shown me that they're not built like me.
Ooh.
So I'm so loyal to a fault. I tell you this all the time. And then my Vic has to
Yes.
look at me and say, Mia,
Yeah, we really hope for people to be, to stand up and be there. And I just think sometimes it's difficult. Like I said, it's like it's difficult to watch someone's ascent, watch them rise when I feel like when you feel like you started at a similar point, or sometimes people think they started like ahead of you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's difficult for people to watch that. And
Oh, of
so
course. And I'm the type of person, for anyone who follows me, I want to take everybody with me.
yes.
If my homegirl selling dog food, I'm gonna be like, y'all gotta order dog food for my girl.
Yes,
know?
you do. I know. I know.
I just feel like God didn't give me this platform for myself.
Right.
It's for me to share with so many other women who are fighting the same fight that I'm fighting.
Yes.
But I have gotten my heart broken. I have ignored red flags, and I just know I go to sleep every night knowing that I have a good heart. I meant well, and sometimes things just don't work out.
They don't. Okay. I want you to finish this sentence. And then you guys tee up the microphones because we are going to ask questions. I want you to finish this. When all else fails, one thing I know for sure about myself.
Can I say?
One thing I know for sure about myself.
One thing I know for sure about myself is that I will always march to the beat of my own drum. I will always do that. I feel like I will always be okay. I feel like, in a sense of just, I'd like to take care of people. I like to nurture people, and people always wonder like, why do you do what you do? And I'm like, I'm gonna always be okay. She can't figure it out. It's certain people in my life who can't figure it out.
Right.
So I come and I scoop up and I take up for them. And they're like, why do you do that? I'm gonna always be okay.
Right.
So one thing I know for sure, I'm gonna always
be
march to the
okay.
beat of my own drum for sure.
Yeah. Have you ever, before we go to a question, has there ever been a time in your life where you like thought maybe not? Like, has it been so hard?
Oof. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think one thing, well, what I learned in one sense of that, just thinking back, is that I hold on to God's promises. Like, He promised me that it's going to be okay. He told me that it was going to be okay. And I shared that with someone one time, and he was like, "You really, like, I felt when you said that." I said, "I meant that."
Yes. Yes.
I feel like I'm gonna always be okay. It's been times where I was like, I can't do this. Like, this is getting rough.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take a nap, wake up, and I'll be like, no, let me get back to it. I'm gonna be all right.
Okay.
One thing for sure is I'm gonna always be all right.
Take your nap and come back.
Yes.
Okay. So, his hand is up here. She was like, well, she sensed that I might ask a question.
Come on, Stockings.
Stockings.
You just got yours
Little
in the mail.
mini brown bucket. What?
Is this thing on?
Is this?
Hi, Mia. Hi, Mia.
Hi, beautiful.
I'm here with my friend Nisha. She invited me here, and we love you. My question is, how do you get out of your own way when the fears come about, when you know that you can, when you know that the promise is there, but the self-sabotage, the imposter syndrome, the things, that I'm a mom, that I'm a this, I'm a that. How do you get out of your own way to be able to say, first of all, I'm a glamaholic, and I know that I can do this, but the things that keep me the walls that you build to keep people out also stop people from getting in.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get out of your own way to let those people be in? Or
I
to let those things in to reach that, the 10 years, the same bag, the same product, the same whatever. How do you get out of your own way?
I get asked this a lot, and I'm like, I remember being on a panel and somebody asked me about imposter syndrome, and I looked next to the person next to me. I was like, "What is that?"
What is it?
Sorry, you know, I don't have the biggest thing I can say is about fear. Everybody has fear. I've had fear of the unknown, things like that. Once you just really grab hold to the fact that sometimes you gotta talk to yourself. I remember when I was struggling trying to figure glamaholic out, I look in the mirror every morning and be like, all right, Mia, let's get it. Whatever it was, I was gonna, I was gonna figure it out that day. Okay.
Right.
So sometimes I think we bite off more than what we can chew, thinking that it has to be perfect. It'll never be the perfect day. You'll never have a perfect business. I've never written a business plan before in my life. And here I am. So I think giving yourself grace, not making excuses. I remember around the time where I stopped saying I was going to allow people to introduce me as a teen mom. Because what difference does that make?
What difference does it make? Yeah.
Munchie ain't do this.
Right. Teen mom. Right. Right.
Teen mom turned mogul. No, just call me a mogul.
Just call me a mogul, please.
So just stop identifying yourself as something that really you don't have to grab hold of that and keep it going.
Right.
But just be patient, grace, understanding everybody has fear. And just when you know that everybody is trying to figure this thing called life out, nobody has the answers. Therapists can give us tools, our aunties and our grandmas can give us advice. They still trying to figure it out themselves.
Right. We can do one more quick. Do we have one more in the audience question? What'd you say? Up here. Oh. Yep. Yell it out. Yeah. Love this.
Hey, Bill.
One thing that I would love to ask you is how do you stay strong doing all that you do, being a mom, being a good friend, being, a team leader to your now empire that you have built in your new beautiful warehouse and all.
Thank you.
How do you stay as strong as you do?
I think it goes back to just life. I don't want to say like I had such a horrible upbringing, but life comes at you from the time you get here, and I just feel like along the way, I just picked up the little nuggets and the little tools, and I do adapt them to my everyday life, whether it's work in the warehouse, friends, my children. And people always ask about balance. I don't have balance. I say it all the time. It's no such thing.
Yeah.
I made a mistake and left Tana at school the other day.
Oh. That's real life.
It's real life. And I don't want anybody to think I'm so strong that I'm Popeye. It's times I go home and I lay in the bed and I'm like, I can't do this. So I don't ever want to put out the image that I'm so strong, but I just keep trying.
You get back up.
I get back
You get
up.
back up. I think that's the thing is that people may look at you and think that you haven't been knocked down.
Oh, no.
And you have been knocked down, but I think you just continuously dust yourself off and return to the site.
I
And
do. I
you
do.
come back time and time again.
I do. I just think about it, even as small as just rap music does something to me. And when I get into, I'm going to turn on some Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember talking to somebody the other day. I was like, yeah, because Jay-Z told me. And they was like, Jay-Z.
You don't know Jay-Z.
Don't know Jay-Z. I didn't know he was talking to me. And it worked.
Yes.
I can't wait to meet him and thank him.
Yeah. Same. All right, Mia, she's coming back. Everybody is coming back for a panel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are y'all feeling the goodness? Yes, let me hear it. Oh, gosh. The ladies just brought it, right? Are we feeling like we're leaning into our greatness now? We have some tips and some things to guide us. Good, good. And welcome everybody back to the stage.
Yes. You are here. Okay. Coming back. everybody's coming. Come on. They're like, wait,
What do we do? Bear with us.
bear with us. We are moving and shaking in this time, y'all. We are trying to get all of the things in and done. Live entertainment.
Sit wherever you feel. Yeah, it's all good.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna jump into a few questions for our ladies, and then we're gonna open it up to Q&A from you all. So like I said, be prepared.
Got your question.
Yes. So ladies, was there anything that you had to let go to become the woman that you are today? Anyone?
At me, I'm like,
People.
people.
People. Yeah, I think there are spaces that we cannot move into with certain people in our lives. And it is really important that we love them deeply from a distance.
I concur. I think everything. I think you have to reevaluate and really fiercely edit your entire life. Something I talk about a lot is I did a massive shed on my life, like cut out a lot, and not necessarily because anybody was wrong, but I wished everyone lasting peace, and then I moved forward. But yeah, people and creating space. Also, stop doing things that don't serve you just because you're used to doing them. That goes to hobbies, ways you spend your time, ways that you eat. Edit all of the things.
I'm like, I have so many things that I'm thinking of that are running through my head of like what I had to let go to become the woman I am today in this current moment who is still evolving. But I think I had to stop making up stories about who I wanted the people in my life to be. So I had to like let go of like the fantasy. Like I think in the spirit of romance and flirting, that I was really romanticizing a lot of the relationships in my life and how, hoping people would become something that they just weren't capable. Like they never even said that they could be that. But I just hoped and I wanted that for them. And I've always been a person that have like felt like I could see like the highest vision of someone's life. And I was like, all they need is me.
I got the answer, Sway.
All they need is me. And it's like, no, my league. So that is something that I had to let go of, just like wanting for everyone to be living like this.
Can I say, like, what's so powerful about that is that I feel like that's so many of us, and that is one of the biggest tools of self avoidance. Because sometimes we are naturally good at seeing people and telling them what they need, and we could do that in our sleep, and it doesn't mean it's not a valuable gift. But, if we're constantly
Distracted.
looking,
Yes.
and it's like, turn the gaze inward.
Mia?
I would have to say letting go of being uncomfortable. Born and raised in Detroit. I'm from the hood of all hoods. When you get to spaces, and Malik was one of the people who brought that to my attention, we belong everywhere. I would go somewhere and feel so uncomfortable. Even now to this day, I'm like, well, now I'll be like, like, you better ask about me. I don't care who in the room, but just letting go of being uncomfortable and thinking about where I'm from and the whole teen mom situation and X, Y, and Z is a whole list of things I could say about myself, and I had to let that go.
I love that.
Have the standards that you all hold yourselves to now changed from the standards that maybe you held yourself to, let's say, 10 years ago?
I'm like, did I even hold myself?
Did I even have
You
some?
did.
Well, I think, I did, in the sense of like, I think my whole approach, like the excellence and all the stuff that I brought to my podcast and the books, like, I'm like, hey, here's what you need for your life. It really was just like, I wanted to survive. Like, I wanted to go beyond where I was born. And I was like, if I don't have access to the tools to elevate, I am just going to be so outstanding that people will be forced to move me up and forward and along. And that's what I did. So I guess in some way I held myself to that standard. But, looking back on that, like there were so many other things that I
was not paying attention to in terms of my entire person. There was more to life than achieving and excelling. And so now I feel bad because people be like, it's Q4, what should we be doing? And I'm like,
Take a nap.
nothing. Give us something to get us to the end of the year. Like, pump us up. And I'm like, I got nothing. It's different, you know? I still care and I still show up, but it's not like, that's not the thing that like shows up before me.
Anyone else?
You know, I think something that used to be challenging for me 10 years ago was having discipline in my life in non-work areas. You know, I always was showing up for work at the highest level. I believed in excellence, but there were other areas that I was always willing to kind of bend and move a little bit. And I think now I reframed that. I started saying an affirmation to myself some years ago that was just, I am joyfully disciplined. I am joyfully disciplined. I'm joyfully disciplined. And that really changed me. And so I feel that I now in this moment, I live a highly disciplined life and a highly devotional life. And my life is really built around my spiritual practice and my child. And that's made all the difference. I feel like that has just blown me light years in my personal healing growth and the way I want to live.
Gosh, this is a hard question. I feel like my life is, or my age is catching up to my life philosophy.
Say more about
I know.
that.
I'm like, they're like, no, keep going.
I too am from Detroit. Woo! And I remember in elementary school, I went to the neighborhood high school, and the teacher would be like, I used to teach your uncle. I'm like, well, he ain't no good. I need to get out of here. I do not want to be associated with him. So I'm like, how do I get out of this neighborhood situation? And I learned about a school of choice. And I went home and I told my mom, and I was like, hey, this is the school I have to go to. It wasn't near my house. Same thing for high school. I'm like, I played an instrument in elementary school and I could sing. So I'm going to go to this performing arts high school. Like, I knew that I had to do something different. And the people in my environment, they were not going to create that for me. And so as I was doing things, it was like, this is weird. This is different. This is weird. And now it all makes sense.
It's a yes for me, you know. Just thinking back 10 years ago, like Molly said, did I even have standards? Like, what was I doing? You know, I was so focused on this glamaholic train. It was like tunnel vision. That's it. You know, I didn't really get to enjoy myself outside of work and things like that. And now I'm like, listen, I pay about 12 people. Y'all better figure it out. I'm gone. I gotta go take a nap. I gotta go get some rest. You know, I'm not so deep into it right now where I'm not living life. So definitely I changed since 10 years ago.
In this age of social media, and I think we sort of touched on it with all the announcements and in this pressure, feeling like you always have to have something to say that you accomplished, how do you all cope with that, I guess? Because you all have huge platforms where people are looking at you daily. How do you navigate that? Do you say anything to yourself? Is there any way that you say, okay, let me manage my own expectations about what I need to share or what I need to feel like I'm promoting or, putting out there now?
I know.
Get 'em, Debbie.
I
Let's
know
go.
you do. What you got for us?
So I'll just say my practice this last year, I really wanted to change the way I connected to social media because when you look at our lives, I'm assuming we're all kind of in the same generation. We've been on it for a long time. Long
Yes.
time. Like over a decade. That is
Yes.
substantial. And we signed up for social media before any studies were done. So without our consent, we locked ourselves into an algorithm system, to a way of our brains changing. Like you think of 10 years, our brains are changed, you know? So I really started thinking about that. And last December, I decided to unfollow 100% of the people that I followed. And I got off Instagram completely, no posts, no looking at it for 2 months. And then I just said, I'm gonna follow people back based on them entering my consciousness. because I don't want to be subconsciously influenced by everything. And I don't want to follow thousands of people that I met on a weekend here on this trip and we kind of clicked. And now I literally know the nuance of every detail of your life, but I may never see you again. You know, it's not, that doesn't feel good to me. And it's not necessarily sustainable for our brains, for our hearts. Like, I don't want to be kind of plugged into a ton of people. I want to be deep with a select few that feels nourishing to my spirit. So that was a really beautiful kind of case study for me on myself. And it's felt great. It helped me keep boundaries. It helped me reconnect to my life. And I took a year off of, to this day, of posting any of my work on social. So I haven't made any announcements in the last year, but I've had the most successful year of my entire life. Wow. And I haven't said anything about it on Instagram.
Let's give it up for that. Yes. Please.
And that's felt really good because it brought me back to my heart and back to what does my purpose mean to me if no one sees it?
Yes.
You know?
And who are you really sharing for? Yes. Who are you really showing out for? I think a lot of us can take a moment to think about that. Anyone else want to share?
Well, I can definitely say with social media, anyone who's been following me for years, you can kind of see how my dynamic changed. I would be wrong if I completely cut my glamaholics off because I feel so connected to them that they love to see the achievements and my success and things that I've accomplished. But I took the twist of removing personal, you know. Instagram, social media has become scary. At first it was fun and we were so happy to show off our outfits and, you know, what kind of makeup we're wearing. And then it turned into people Googling your address and, you know, looking up your personal information and stuff like that. And I'm the type of person that my personal life is so sacred to me. You know, it's certain family members that I won't post because they didn't ask to be talked about. They didn't ask to be called fat, you know. So in my world, I want everybody to focus on why we're here. We're here
for the
buy some bags.
We're here
and
for
some
the
bags. Yeah. We're not here to know what is going on between me and my man. You know, so for me, I feel I have such a strong connection with my community that I make sure I do share my accomplishments, but the accomplishments that they care about. Nobody cares what kind of car I drive. My glamaholics don't care what my house looks like. You know, things like that. We are here for the core of the important things, and that's just for them to see themselves in me and know that they can do it too.
I love that. Nedra?
I feel like she is so good because it's like she showed up. She comes for the boundaries and the boundaries only.
I'm a late adopter. I didn't start using social media to 2017, really, for professional purposes. I had a personal thing, but it wasn't even on my phone. When I started using Instagram, I thought it was a picture editing app. Okay? So I am still very much like, text me the pictures from the birthday party. Like, write me a letter. Yeah. You know, that I get to choose what I'm impressed by. I'm impressed by houseplants, not how much you made in a quarter. Right? I'm like, your fig is that tall? You got 8 platos? You know, so I get to choose what that is. And I think that Instagram is such an energetic force in our lives, Facebook, TikTok, all of those things. And completely going to zero could be a wonderful way for you to now choose what you're inspired by. If you don't feel like you can go to zero because people will be mad at you, start a fake account. Don't even use the old one. Start a fake account, a new account, and follow what you actually love. I have found it I do not follow friends and family. Nobody really cares. Like, they're not mad at me because I'm just like, yeah, I won't follow you. Like, send me the pictures. Like, I love you deeply, but I don't want to see your kids on Instagram. So there has to be another way for us to connect, and it's in the real world. It's not in this social space. Now, for some of us, we are mixing business with pleasure, or it's all pleasure. But again, we have to come up with, what is my purpose for being in this space? Is it for celebrity gossip? Is it to be inspired for business stuff? Is it to meet friends? We have to figure out what our game plan is and then move into that space and create it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think, you have two kids back to back and you in your 40s. And it's like, I care so much about them and how I'm raising them. And I've turned down probably every opportunity offered to me because I was like, I am not going to break myself to be able to tell y'all that I know how to break myself. I'm not doing that. Like, could I rip and run and be a mom, boss mom, pushing in heels? And could I do that? Yes, I could. But it's like my kids mean more to me than an announcement to you. And if you don't think that I'm cool because I won't break myself for you, then I'm not for you. I'm not for you. And so that's what I said. I was like, I turn people off. And I'm good with that because I really want you to be clear about why you're here with me. If you're wavering, if you're not sure, you can go. I want you to be able to do that. And so that is really, it's like, I don't have any announcements. It's like, I am still doing a lot of things. I do work, but I don't feel the need to and it really started to I started looking like people like, I got this coming, I got that going. And it's like, when I tell you that my agent reached out to me about this book, it's like, girl, I need a couple more weeks. I'll do it when I was like the things I'm never when it's right, I'll do it. Yeah. So I'm not, if it takes me forever, then and I think that's why I was so overwhelmed when I came out here, because I was like, the proof is in the pudding. That when you show up, if you however much time you need, your people are there for you. And so it's like, this is not a flex. This is just the fact that I put in the time and the work. And so yeah,
And the effort to cultivate
and the
this
effort to
community,
cultivate a community. So I'm always gonna be here for y'all.
Yeah. Get ready for that tour.
Yes,
tour
I'm gonna come
coming.
out. I'm gonna come outside a little bit.
Okay, let's take some audience questions.
Yes.
Okay, right here in the green top. And real quick, before you get started, I'm going to channel Devi and say, let's be intentional with the way that we share with the room, the questions that we want to ask, and the fact that we want to give space for everyone in our space.
Okay.
Amen.
That just made me nervous, but I'm gonna do it.
I'm so sorry.
No pressure. No pressure.
With the wrong
No
question?
pressure. She was like,
No pressure.
oh, okay.
Your phone. You're
She was like, so I guess I
wrote it down.
shouldn't promote. So I guess I shouldn't promote my business then. That's what you're saying.
All right, scratch that off the top. But hello, ladies. My name is Brianna Christelle. I just want to thank you guys so much for just being beautiful brown women that just inspire us. I'll be quick. My question is, the first question was, you guys talked about letting go of people. And I feel like people tell you that and they make it seem like it's so easy, but it's not that easy.
Cut them off, sis.
So my question is, this year I have shed so many people, some willingly, some just decided to dip out on their own, and I am grieving. And I just want to know, how do you release people that you wanted to bring with you?
Ooh. Oh,
Let me in.
Debbie said, let me go.
Oh, I love this question. So it does hurt.
Yeah.
Grief is a part of it. To be alive is to grieve every day about something, right? Even the really joyful moments, there is a little touch of grief about the fact that it will end. So grief, I feel like to be alive, we're always oscillating between grief and joy, and we just need to come into a space of more acceptance around that. But when I say, consider creating sheds in your life, it is not easy. And I don't say it to be easy. I'm not saying, yeah, girl, cut them off, get out. it takes careful consideration. You know, I don't believe that someone does something to you or pisses you off and then it's like, well, we're done. You know, I'll share with you my procedure. A couple years ago, I started realizing that the amount of people I had in my life was not sustainable for the life I wanted to lead. I was thinking about too many people. I was feeling too pulled. It was very caretaky. I didn't want to know that many people, to be quite honest. And I spent the last 2 years really looking at what is the foundation of the relationships I have with people. I don't like to be treated casually. I am very intentional. I don't call people my friend unless we have friendship. Us meeting and getting along, that's amazing. And we enjoy each other. It doesn't mean we're friends. And so I think that whole system of calling anybody you get along with, that's my bro, that's big sis, that's my girl, that's my friend, that puts us into a situation where we're a lot more expectant and there hasn't been anything really built. So a couple years ago, I sat and I actually created a list. I meditated, got me a glass of wine, put on selection, lit some incense. And I said, who is irritating me?
Ooh.
Like, what relationships feel very irritating to me or have some charge to them, or I feel kind of like I'm biting my tongue, or they have a underlying tone when they say something to me. And I made a list and I wrote their names down and I started keeping note of what do I feel when I'm with them? Because it's always about you, right? Not them. This is your life. And then I slowly whittled that list. So it's a process. It's not a weekend that you rush through and cut everybody off. When I recognized that some people didn't feel compatible with the life I wanted to live, I looked at the why. Some of them I reached out to. We had a conversation. I was able to share, I felt like this situation happened. This is how I felt. Some people couldn't handle that. Cool, not emotionally intelligent. That's a requirement for me. I also don't want to teach you that. So now I know. Other people, it was, wow, I didn't even realize. And you know what? Thank you for bringing this to me because I felt that too, but I didn't know how to say it. And then we ended up having a phenomenal new form of our friendship. So it's just really getting clear, what do you want in your life? Are the relationships supportive to who you really are authentically? And then you have challenging, direct conversations. And then the real work is holding in your truth, even when it feels uncomfortable or when you feel like, what are people gonna think? Scream in a pillow and don't respond. Don't change your stance. And then it gets easier, but it is a practice. It is slow. It is gonna hurt. It is gonna make you feel really uncomfortable and you will grieve some people. And there's more. And then you make space and then you come into your community that is actually really, really equally yoked with the truth of who you are.
Miley, did you have something you wanted to
No, I feel like I want to know what Nedra's thinking. Too. I was like, I know we have another question, but I'm like, I want to know what Nedra thinks about this too.
I think ending relationships is a process, and we want it to be tied up in this really quick, easy, painless way. And because we have committed time and energy and we care about this other person, it is hard to have the conversation. It is hard to spend less time with this person. However, I think we have to be willing to make those changes so we can be in the life that we want to have. There are times when the universe is revealing you do not need to have a relationship with this person. We try to sweep it under the rug, we deflect, we do all these things, and it just keeps coming up. I've experienced that with the friend who's jealous, and you're like, she can't be jealous of me. And then they do this one thing that was like, okay, I do in 1999. this person was jealous, and I just, because you're hoping
Yes.
that this isn't true. So we have to be able to do the really hard thing. But leaving a friendship is like leaving Any other relationship, leaving a family relationship, leaving a job, there is a process. You will grieve. You missing someone does not mean that you need to go back or rekindle or reconnect. I love running into folks and be like, all right, bye. You know, it's not a let's exchange numbers. It's like, I haven't talked to you since 8th grade and you were great. And let's
Right.
leave it there in that classroom. You know, we have to allow things to be over. I think if we kept all of the relationships that we've accumulated, it will come this point of, I can't even manage all of this.
Yes.
I can have 10 really healthy friendships. 20, somebody is not getting what they need.
Yeah.
Let's take another question from the audience.
Come on, third
Yeah.
row. Yell out,
So,
third
yeah,
row.
speak to us. Speak to us.
Hi everybody, my name is Chris, also known as Christmas. And first I just want to say hi.
Hey! I can't even see your face, but I want to. I know your face.
Okay.
So my question is, in the age of like 30 under 30, 40 under 40, you know, people wake up and look at Instagram before they talk to God. Let's just be for real, right? How did you know that your desire was really from God, or like, you know, your purpose is from God, versus like these outside voices that were constantly consuming every single day? How were you guys able to discern God's, you know, voice and goal over your life versus ego, or, you know, just trauma usually influences us, like, I'm going to be heard, or I'll show them. So now you're working so hard to prove this thing versus like, okay, God is lighting my path.
I think that I I am so grateful to have come into myself before social media. So social media is kind of just a way that I like, it's like me sharing some of the notes that, you know, of who I know I am. But I think that like if everything I do is motivated by what people think or what people have to say, it's like, what kind of life am I living really? And so, in addition to the exercise, like the exercise that Devi did, like I am really mindful of how I allow the broader internet to connect with me. It's like, why does everyone does not get to talk to me? So it's like you cannot comment on my stories. People like I'm trying to comment. You guys like you can't.
You can't.
You can't. And most of the time when you have it on, they be like, me too. I have that too. It's like I don't want a lot of that. So it's like you can't comment to me. I make it so that like I was very clear in the beginning when people would like comment on my pictures talking shit, like it's not a thing here. It is not a thing here. And so people know I am not doing that. And so I'm clear. I get to show up as myself, talking about whatever I want to do, doing what I want to do. But it's like, I don't know, like I said, just sharing notes from my life. It's like just letting you, it's not for you, but you can see it.
You're not doing it to compare yourself to other people or one up other people. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to that?
Well, my 2 cents is that when you said, how did you know? Like, I can't shake it. It's like it's chasing me, you know? And I talk to God, I'd be like, why you pick me? I don't like talking to people. I'm not a people part, why me? So when it came to like, this is what you're here for, this is what I put you here for, I'd be like, all right, time to go to work. Let me put my shoes and socks on and get to work because it's chasing me. I can't avoid it. As shy as I am and to myself and all these introvert and all these things, and all y'all know my name. If it was up to me, y'all, nobody would know my name. I'll be behind the scenes somewhere, ducked off, but that's how I know it's God because I know it's not me. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I could list a whole
Oh,
list of things that I'm not.
I'm here to hit you like my therapist. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Yes.
We don't believe it.
It's not me. That's how I know it's God, because it's not me. I don't have. I don't have the answers.
But I think people are like, you
I
look and
think
you
you're
see the
multiple
games.
things that you may not see.
I'm a lot of things that I don't see.
Yeah,
People be
I
like,
think you're all of that. I think the introvert is also a little bit extrovert because you're
Yes.
sitting here, right? So I think that you are all of those things, and I think what you're talking about is it is God because I am being stretched.
Absolutely.
I would say also to your question, you always know God's voice.
Yes.
You may not want to listen to it. It may not come in the package or the design that we want. It may not be with the people we want to be with, but God's voice is clear. And I think it's very distinct from ours. But I will say, especially to the point of your question, with all the comparisons that exist, that's why it's imperative that you have a practice for yourself and that you create distance between yourself and the noise at some point every day. So that for me is meditation. That could be a walk in silence. That could be doing a craft, doing something that you can immerse yourself in without thinking and without thinking about what other people are doing. Do that consistently over time. Do that for a month. Do that for a year. Also know everything doesn't have to happen right away. Give yourself a year to figure that out, right? Like give yourself 4 seasons to move through your thought process around something. Just slowly build the container, because the first thing is we don't have to be fast about our purpose. Our purpose is for the entirety of our existence. And it's always evolving. It is always growing. My career started in broadcasting. I worked in radio for almost 15 years, hosted TV, hosted radio. I thought that was the entirety of how I was meant to use my voice. Did I think I'd be downloaded 10 million times on a meditation app? What? What? But that's the evolution. At first, I thought I was just meant to be interviewing every rapper in the streets, telling the latest this and that. But that was my purpose, and this is my purpose, right? So it's slowly allowing yourself to evolve into the new chapters and the new levels of who you are and how your gifts are meant to be expressed.
Love that.
One thing I want to add to that too, I read something in this book, Grit, and she was talking about digging deeper into what you say you're passionate about, and see if you have that natural inquisitive nature about it, and keep going deeper and then see where that lands you. And like Debbie said, you can have twists and turns within that. Let's do another question from the top.
The second row or the top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yell it out.
Hello. Hi. Good evening, everyone. Sorry. I want to go back to the 10 years when the host mentioned the 10 years. 10 years ago, I was 26 years old. Now I'm 36, and there were some things that I thought I would have had accomplished by now. And there are some things that I did accomplish. I got the 2 kids, I got the house, I got the nice car, I got the good job, all of that stuff. But I still don't feel fulfilled. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm unhappy about those things or I'm not grateful for those things, but I thought that's what success was. And I'm now realizing every day in the car, sometimes when I'm going to this nice job, that this is not what success is. How do you redefine that?
It's not. I'm looking at you, Nedra. I'm like, because the thing about it, because I know you have an answer. I'm like, I see. I think it's that thing of like, who made that list?
Yes.
Who made that list for us collectively, that all of us should be aiming for the same exact things of the home, the husband, the kids, And it's like, after I became a mom, I think that is what drew me so much to the mom who was like, I gotta tell the truth.
Yes.
There is nothing that is gonna happen when you bring that baby home. Like everything from the baby shower, everything you get home. And it's like, I feel like so much of what we experience is the death of the fantasy of like the fantasy of what you thought this was going to be like. And then it's like, then you end up kind of like, I have a son who like raised me, like forced me to raise like as a higher person that nobody talks about at the baby shower. It's like, I'm so mad about my baby shower. Because I was like, why didn't someone tell me about like the emotional registry that I was gonna need? Why didn't someone tell me about how, all the work that I would try to take on trying to do this? And so I'm like, I definitely want to hear from everyone else, but I just am like, who made this list? Like, how is it that we all have like one grid of like all the box checks that make us successful, or like these are accomplishments?
Right.
society.
Yes.
All of
Yes.
society.
All of society.
I think what you're noticing is you may have reached the heights of your culturally created self, the version of you that was meeting the societal expectations, the familial expectations, but your authentic self wants more. And I
Or less.
absolutely, I mean, more in terms of more meaning, right? Not
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah.
but your
Yeah.
authentic self is seeking to be expressed in a bigger way. And I think when I first started my purpose conversations, like that's the wall I hit. I was like, I got the career, I got this. Okay, why am I miserable? A nice way to start could be just really looking at, even if I can't quit my job right now, the way social media told us to a couple years ago, quit.
Or quietly quit right now. Stay
Or
at your
if you
job,
can't
but quit.
quietly quit right now, then say, how can I be more of me where I am? How can I really look at my life, look at this restlessness inside of me, what wants to be expressed? Look at it slowly, and then say, in the space that I currently am, how can I be more of that? And then you might get the call to make different choices and different careers and movement.
I am always amazed when our life goals are dependent on other people, on a man, on interest rates, on so that we dependent on the president, we dependent on the man, we dependent. I want my kids to be like all of these things when we are creating daily what fulfills us, and we need to lower our expectations some. Our expectations are very unreasonable for what is possible for every single person in this life. But we feel like we deserve it. I am the person that deserves to have this by this time frame. Time frame with age, goals, they're always gonna hurt when you don't meet them. So it is easier to say, I have some goals that are based on what I can do in my life. You can date, but that doesn't mean you're going to meet a person, right? A person that is your life person within this year. But you can date this year. So if the goal is I have to have a baby in 2 years, well, let's date. That's really the goal. Let's date, let's see, let's go through some steps. But sometimes we are creating our own disappointment. One of my goals this year has been I want to want what I want. Right? Because sometimes we get so wrapped up in what people want for us or what we should want. I don't want to want what I should want. I want to want what I actually want for my life. So people can be out here doing a ton of stuff, and I don't care because it's not the stuff that I want to do, because I am creating my goals for me. Sometimes we get sidetracked, we get distracted because things look good. I mean, I've tried some of those things too. Like, you know what? I'm gonna sell merchandise. It worked for 1 week. And then I got a customer service complaint and I quit. I said, wrong address. I quit.
I quit.
I said, this looks good. You know, when people are selling shirts, this looks like a good thing for them. I don't even want a customer service complaint. So that just shows you my endurance for it. So yeah, we have to be careful. And why do I want this thing? Why is this important to me? Kids look good, but why do I want them?
Well. Everybody like, kids look good. Somebody like, they don't even look good.
Let's take another question. I think we have a few more minutes before we have to wrap.
We have one in the front, and then maybe we can take one from the second row.
Thank you. My name is Georgie, and I have a similar but the opposite question as a person before, where I'm currently 27 now, and I feel like I checked off too many boxes too fast and did too many things. I've been married, have kids, businesses, books, like all the things you can think of. And now I've gotten to a point where it's just like, what next? Like, what do I do from here? And I also want to start doing different passions. So it's like, how do I accept that and start enjoying the things that I did? Because I never enjoyed it. I was just checking off boxes, and I've become an overachiever, and I want to live a softer life, but I just have no idea how to. And it's just like, there's no space to start that, because everyone just looks at, okay, you're the overachiever, you're going to get all the things. I'm going to put all the things on your plate. So I'm just like, how do I get to the point of removing things from my plate, as well as like accepting that for myself, that there are more things that I can do, because I feel like I've just done everything already.
Let me say, the soft life thing, I think we could be here all night if we go down that road, because I think people have some
Soft
opinions,
life.
but go ahead.
I don't know. What got me in therapy is that I had a list of things that I needed to be happy. And then I got every single thing done. And I stared out of the window of my gorgeous apartment, and I had my new car sitting in the garage, and I was just like, I'm not happy. And it has been such an awesome journey with my therapist of figuring out why I had the list in the first place, what I I don't want to say ignoring, or like what keeping myself busy with all this stuff was able to distract me from the real thing that I needed to be doing and working on. So I was just able to stay busy, And I remember it's like I never forgot this time where anytime things would get really hard, I would just like go on a trip. So when people would see me on Instagram, it was like, oh, she would be like, and I remember her asking me, and we had this joke last time when we had the drinks, like she would ask me when I would be like, yes, I'm going out of town. We would talk about something. I'm like, I'm going out of town. She'd be like, are you running? No. Why would I do that? And so I think that over this last decade, I have just learned to spend time with myself and slow down and really get into the things that make me happy. And it's like, I thought I was an overachiever, but I was overworking. And if you Google it, it's wild. You're like, and so I I think it just takes work, because it's not a simple answer, and it's like your answer is so specific to you and the journey of your family of origin and your parents and your family, of like how this was created in your life. And so it's why I'm so kind of obsessed with parenting, because I feel like nearly everything you will learn, it'll be like your childhood.
Yes.
So we just going back to my childhood. Yes.
I want to make time for another question. So, here you go.
Hi. I'd like to. My question may be a bit loaded, so I'm going to start with that. But we've talked a lot about, breaking relationships with friends. But as someone who, so all the under 40s, I love that. That's so cute. I'm 42, and I feel like I am operating from a deficit because I didn't have the familial foundation. So how do you become when you feel like you don't have that foundationally?
She's like, "Le-
I think that's so many of us. That's millions of people. Millions of people. I think we're at a moment in humanity where a lot of us are called to investigate mother wounds, father wounds. Part of a lot of the things I think we've all been speaking to on this stage apply to almost every question. It comes down to being willing to spend time with yourself and sitting in some of that discomfort. You know, there are a lot of things that bring charge in us that we feel shame about, or that we're unable to do with ease because they were not role modeled for us as children. Because maybe you, in your childhood, you were a latchkey kid, or you were given way too much responsibility too early, or you were having to appease a parent or tiptoe around mood swings or not get your needs met. That is a reality for millions, millions. And it's about really slowing down enough and being willing to look at that. And it's hard to look at the entirety of that because society is also saying this is the perfect family. And society has trained us to think that the majority experience is the perfection we see on TV, and the rarity is those other kinds of experiences. And in fact, it's flipped. In fact, more of the rarity is some of those ideal scenarios we see in film and television, that one family in the neighborhood, right? But everyone else had a complex childhood. Everything comes back to the childhood wounds. So give yourself time. Look specifically to that. There are a lot of powerful books around that. There are a lot of powerful healing modalities around reparenting yourself. Absolutely therapy and more. You need somatic approach. You need to be able to go into your body and reconnect with yourself. Consider breath work. Consider meditation. Consider trying out new ways to recognize, what do I need? And is there a way for me to meet that need? You're learning to get to know yourself. And no matter at what age it is, it's beautiful, sacred work. And it's the most important work of your life.
From the moment that question was posed, as it's loaded, I heard a challenge with vulnerability. Because if you are not connected to people who have those same sort of experiences, it is because perhaps you have not started to talk about those things. So I think being honest with your own story, certainly in a paced way, not first date with, friends and, people you encounter, but at some point. On the plane right here, I sat next to a lady. She felt so comfortable. She told me I should write her book. I promise you, I have her number in my phone.
Okay.
We were seatmates on an hour and a half flight, and I know this lady's entire story. Well, not entire, but a good portion. And it's because we were having a conversation. I was asking her questions. I shared, she shared. And so in those moments, she felt comfortable enough to say, as a child, I experienced this. I can't believe I'm saying this to you. I said, I make you feel comfortable. So as I'm sharing, she is sharing. So there is this reciprocal process that happens as we open up with people, we meet our people. It does feel very lonely and isolating, and we think it's other people. Nobody is like me. Who am I showing that I am like them?
You didn't have to do that. Do we have time for?
I say, if you all don't mind cutting our happy hour after a little short, we can take one more question. Okay.
We have a little time for some more music and drinks.
Good evening, everyone. It's actually an honor to be here right now. My friend Jody invited me to this session, and it's very empowering. It's also coming in a time where I'm going through a lot. And everything that is being said here tonight is resonating with me. I'm hearing sit in a space with yourself. Sometimes you don't know where to start. You hear journal. What do I write? How do I even come to a point to know what to jot down? I struggle with that a lot. Like the thoughts come at me so fast, but then I feel like it needs to be perfect when I write it down. And it's really challenging for me because I go to therapy right now, and I feel lost. Even in my therapy session, I feel like I don't know what to say. I don't have the right words, and I don't know how to sit in a space with myself. And I don't know if I'm the only one in this space. um, but I would like to know, like, what's a starting point? Yes, journal. But when I look at that page, like, I just got gifted a remarkable tool, And when I start writing in it, I'm like, what am I even writing? I don't even know what I'm writing, but I just write anything just to say that I did something in there, but none of it is connecting the dots for me. I'd like to know, like, really, what's a starting point for you to sit in that space with yourself, to become one with yourself, to touch on that higher power within you? Because I'm lost.
Thank you, first of all, for being
Yes.
so vulnerable and open
Yes.
with all of us.
Yes.
And we wish you goodness on your journey and what you are going through.
I am. That's what came to mind. Like, I am feeling, I am being, I want, I am an affirmation. You could say something like, I am wonderful. You could say, I am scared. With journaling, I find that we overcomplicate the process. All we need to do is take what's in our head and put it on paper. It could be one sentence, one page. You could do it on a voice note. You could type it on a computer. You could take a video. Any of those sort of things work. What I hear is I am so uncomfortable talking about myself, even in therapy, because in therapy, you are learning to talk about yourself. I have clients who will be like, how are you? Don't worry about it. Why are you asking me? I'm like, don't even worry about it. It doesn't matter. I have friends. Like, how are you? Like, talk. We're so programmed to, and I mean, they will be like, no, seriously, listen, you have 50 minutes. That may not be enough time for you to talk about yourself. You certainly don't want to hear about me. But we are not really programmed, not all of us, but, we are not programmed to believe that people will listen and that they will care. And so this is an opportunity for you to care about yourself. No one is looking at it. My journal, I have my little notes section on my phone. I just type a little something. I use a Remarkable 2, and I'll send a note to myself. Then I lock it because I got some journal anxiety. Like, I don't want nobody to read it. Nah. But I type the little note and I lock it. And sometimes, it might be before something like this. Like, I'm so excited to talk to, my league. I'm scared, whatever it is. Or it might be, I watched something and a childhood memory came up, or whatever it is. I'm creating what the journal is. So it can be about my favorite color. Sometimes I do like to pick random stuff and be like, blue. Tell a story about blue. Oh my gosh, there was this blue, whatever. Like, you are creating the journaling process. There is no proper way to do it, but there is certainly a way to not do it.
I think I would like to add, something that I think we should all be aware of is sometimes it's about setting an intention to open our heart to the healing. Because something that I heard you share really bravely was that you don't know where to start. Something I also heard on this stage was a lot of advice on how to start. So sometimes we're in a place where there is the knowledge, there is the guidance, but we are committed to thinking it won't work for us. So we tune out when we're given the tools and then we don't use them. The exercise that I led us in, that's how you start, right? I led you through breath work that took 1 minute and 30 seconds, but it regulated you a little bit, your nervous system. It brought you into a space, even if just for a second. That breath was 3 seconds. Do it with me. Close your eyes. Inhale again. When you want to think about journaling, when you want to think about coming into a space of vulnerability, take a few moments to let yourself settle into it. You're not doing anything wrong. Let yourself settle into what you're feeling and then take a breath. When it comes to journaling, I had the same anxiety around journaling. I thought it had to be Dear Diary style. I thought it had, today, Dear Diary. And I was thinking about writing from the lens of someone in 100 years that would find it and what heroic life was I living, you know?
Devi's diary.
Right. Like, but now it's bullet point style. It's just as a thought enters my mind, I release it on paper. Or it's voice note. I send myself a quick note. You don't have to listen to it again if you don't want to. You don't have to reread it if you don't want to. Slowly is the best way. But as you're in therapy, even if you want to just sit there in silence with the person that you're with, just keep telling yourself your story is worthy of being heard. Your expression needs to be let out. And then slowly start going there. But if you would just say this intention with me silently in your own body. Say, I am open to all the teachers and all the tools that are necessary for my path. I am open to all the teachers and the tools that are necessary for my path. And watch things unfold. But just keep coming back to staying open. If you do nothing else, keep coming back to telling yourself you will keep your heart open in this process.
Love that.
Yes. I think we got one last one in the black and white.
Okay.
And I know. I knew we were going to do this.
Hello, everyone. This is actually not a question. This is something I just want to share because I'm really hearing a lot in this room that, we just don't know where to start or we just need to come back to ourselves. It's been about a year and I had a dream. I had a dream that me and you, Malik, we sat outside of like a coffee shop. It looked like it was the city. And all I kept doing was just looking around. And it was just really a time for you to just sit with me. And I was so uneasy. I just couldn't calm myself down. And you're like, you need to learn to be with yourself. That was your words to me. And I'm like, okay. So I woke up out of the dream and I'm like, wow, and it felt so real, like we were really sitting down in real life. So I'm saying this because I don't know why I'm here, but I feel like this kind of covers it all. Like we just need to learn to sit with ourselves and everything that we've learned today, really sit with that word. I don't know why I'm terrible, sorry.
It's
Not
all good.
apologize.
Yes.
But it's really like a full circle moment because I really feel like we needed this. And the young lady who just shared, I think Devi, what you just shared with her, she did that as well. So thank you, and
Thank
I'm just
you.
happy to be here.
That was
Thank you for
beautiful.
sharing.
Thank you. Yes.
For sharing. And I agree, is that learning to sit with ourselves is difficult. It's difficult.
I want to ask one last question of you ladies. Is there anything that has been on your spirit lately or anything that you've found yourself wanting to shout from the mountaintops that you haven't been able to say? Or maybe you've said it, but you want to say it to these ladies.
I want us, no pressure. It's the shift
for me.
The shout for the mountaintops. Like, I got something to say that you could share with us. Everybody's looking. Everybody's.
I feel like with Instagram, a lot of that content comes from me journaling. So I'll be journaling, something comes up, and I'll think like, before I had healthy boundaries, I would. Because I'm journaling about this person, and this person was the reason I didn't have any healthy boundaries. And then I just come up with this list, right? And so I think every day I'm putting out whatever is on my heart, but in this space, it is tune into yourself.
For me, it's slow down. I've been saying that, and I'm talking to myself. I've been on this hamster wheel for the past few years, and just recently, I'm like, I just want to slow down. Because a lot of times people ask me, how does it feel? What does this feel like? How do you take it all in? And I'm like, my mind is already on the next thing. I don't even get to celebrate what I'm currently accomplishing because I'm too busy on to the next thing. Yeah, I took all the pictures in Times Square last night, but I'm thinking about what I got to do next weekend in LA. So what I've been saying to myself, and I'm sure a lot of us need to hear it, is just slow down. It's not a race. What's for me will not pass me.
I would say, no matter what it is that you are thinking about, what's coming forward, especially if it feels comparative or critical, turn your gaze inward. As often as you can, look to turn your gaze inward. There's nothing more important than cultivating your internal life. Nothing. Nothing. It is the foundation of everything else that will happen in your life. So just really making that a conscious choice of something you'll be investing in, your insides, your internal life, how you feel about yourself, something no one else has to know about. Turn your gaze inward.
I think I would say you are worth your time. You are worth your time. And so I think that we get so wrapped up in wanting to solve everybody else's problems, answering every text, phone call, DM. The number of ways that we can be contacted blows my mind today. And you can quickly get away from yourself. You quickly get away from yourself. And so it's like you are worth your time. And just to share with you, because I see you in the audience, and it's like, people will say these like elusive things like breathe, And what does that mean in my life? I am worth my time. I purposely got rid of my Nespresso Keurig situation because I'm like, I'm worth slowing down and making an actual cup of coffee. Everything doesn't have to be instant. And my kids can cry and people can wait while I take this time for myself. And so I have taken this time of removing the convenience from my life to inconvenience others. I hope you inconvenience someone by saying yes to yourself. And so my kids know, mommy making coffee. That means we wait.
Hey, sit down.
That means we wait. You can wait. Like I am worth. It takes 5 minutes to make pour over coffee, and I felt like my life was too fast. Like I can't wait. Yes, I can, and they can wait, and I can wait, and it's something that the youngest baby's pediatrician said to me that really stuck with me, and I hope to share with you all. My daughter was like, my son breastfed right away. I got very cocky and arrogant the second time around. The nurse comes in. I just did this. I don't need your help. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Did not work. She wouldn't latch. She wouldn't do this. And then and her pediatrician said to me, are you drinking water? Are you eating? Are you? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm trying. And she was like, you can't nourish her if you are not nourished. She can cry I want you to drink a cup of water every single morning while she cries. And that has literally stuck with me for the rest of my life. It's like stuck with me since then. I can't nourish anyone if I don't even put water in my own body. I can't feed my child. So it's like me, I have to fill myself up. I have to fill myself up, even if it inconveniences. She can wait. She will eat eventually.
All right. That wraps us up for this evening. Thank you
Yes.
all so
Wait,
much for
wait,
coming
wait,
out.
wait. I really want to say this because I know that like people, I have been introduced to many people by way of social media, and I'm grateful for that because it's like before, back in the day, the only way you had to pay for media to be in magazines and television. So I know a lot of you know me from social media. So I want to share that every single person here they have committed and donated their time to be here with me and with us. And it is so important that I share that because it is such a gift. It is such a gift of your time. It is such a gift of your knowledge and information. And so I want you to know that like I don't take your yes for granted. And so I just want to thank you for showing up for the community because it's like it's healing. Like I can always feel like growth happening in the room. We'll get back together and I know that you guys are going to spin up. And so I just want to thank the three of you for saying yes to me.
Thank you.
And thank you, Ayana, for always having my back. Anything I need, you are here. So thank you for holding us down today.
Of course, of course. Thank you all,
Thank you.
beautiful
Thank you,
people, for coming
Samsung.
out. Yes, thank you, Samsung. And we're going to have about maybe 40 minutes for you all to mix and mingle and some light bites and some drinks. So
And
enjoy
DJ Miss
yourselves.
Milan is getting ready to
Yes.
get it popping.
Yes. And connect with each other.
Yes. Make a friend.